the first time in 15 years, an inmate is going to die by firing squad right here in the U.S. And this execution is happening this Friday. Our sister station in Greenville telling us more about Brad Sigmon. The man killed the parents, I should say, of his ex-girlfriend back in 2001. Have a listen.
It's been more than 20 years since a man killed his ex-girlfriend's parents in their home here on East Darby Road in Taylors. This week, he's scheduled to be put to death by firing squad.
In 2001, Brad Sigmon took the lives of his ex-girlfriend's parents, Gladys and David Lark, inside their home in Greenville County.
Both were brutally murdered.
According to the Greenville County Coroner's Office, their deaths were extremely gruesome.
Mrs. Lark, you could obviously tell she had some type of defensive wounds, so she tried to defend off her attacker.
Court records state the Larks were repeatedly hit on their heads with a baseball bat by Sigmon.
I remember that Mrs. Lark was actually sitting in a chair. Mr. Lark, he was on the floor, and both had multiple blunt force injuries that we could see immediately.
Greenville County Coroner Mike Ellis says at the time it wasn't obvious what object had been used to kill the Larks until the bat was found in the home.
We did find a blunt object. It appeared to look like some type of bat with multiple blood and hair on the weapon at the scene.
According to court records, when Sigmon's ex-girlfriend Rebecca Barber arrived at the home, Sigmon then forced her into a car. We're told Barber jumped out of the moving car. Sigmon got out, chased her, and fired a gun at her several times. Barber was injured but survived. According to court records, Sigmon went to Tennessee where he was captured 10 days later.
Police officers were on top of me in Greenville continuously.
Those records also revealed Sigmon had been smoking crack cocaine and drinking alcohol the evening before the killings. A South Carolina jury found Sigmon guilty of 2 counts of murder in 2002. He was sentenced to death for the murders. Sigmon's attorneys filed for clemency with Governor Henry McMaster, hoping instead of death, his sentence can be changed to life in prison without parole. When asked last week if he would grant Sigmon clemency, this was McMaster's response.
I have great confidence in our legal system, our system of justice in the country, and especially in South Carolina, and the law.
Sigmon's execution is scheduled for Friday, March 7th in Columbia.
Well, today the South Carolina Supreme Court rejected Brad Sigmon's appeal to delay his execution. His lawyers wanted the delay so they could get a hearing in court to learn more about the drug that South Carolina uses in lethal injections. Now, Sigmon said the lack of information forced him to choose the firing squad. And as I mentioned earlier tonight, Sigmon is going to be the first inmate here in South Carolina to choose the state's firing squad over lethal injection or electric chair. Only 3 inmates in the U.S. have been executed by firing squad since 1976. And all of those executions were in Utah, with the last one taking place in 2010. 67-year-old Sigmon is going to be strapped to a chair and will then have a hood placed over his head. If you want some more information about this entire story, go to WLTX.com.